Okay.
I was totally going to forget. Hi, I'm Lenny Schmidt.
And I'm Robert Robbins.
This is Not Your Father's Show. It's a show where we talk about all things related to raising kids and being a parent.
From the single, divorced, and married perspective.
Yeah, we cover a lot of different bases. Our backgrounds. I'm a comedian and an actor, and I am not as educated as this guy to my left. I have 2 teenage daughters, and I tell jokes for a living.
And I'm a marriage and family therapist. I work with teens, parents, and couples. And I'm married and I have a daughter.
There we go. That's it. And I'm divorced. Did I say I was divorced?
And you are single, divorced, single, and
Single.
Ready to mingle.
Single, ready to mingle, and divorced. And I'm looking. You can find my profile on Tinder.
And Bumble.
And no, just Tinder. I don't know. Plus, I'm going back on a ship in a week, so nobody.
Ahoy, matey! You're gonna get back, and you're gonna be like all those.
I'll be happy.
I know.
I'll be much happier on a ship. Trust me. Than LA. We're here every Monday at 6 o'clock Pacific time. And we launch every Monday at 6 o'clock Pacific time. The video stays on YouTube. If you're watching it, give it a thumbs up. Do that for me. Like the video. It helps us a lot. Also, share the video with people you know that might be interested. Subscribe to the channel. Do all that stuff for us. We'd really appreciate it. It helps us as far as doing more videos.
And if we don't cover a topic, feel free to email us at notyourfathershow@gmail.com. And if there's a topic that you haven't heard of, just send it in. And any questions, send it to your friends. And this is also for entertainment purposes. This is not counseling or therapy.
Yeah, so don't do something and then go, Lenny and Robert said we should do this. And then blame me and have the police knock on Robert's door because they won't find me.
Someone asked me about this, and they're like, you know so much. And it's like, yeah, I've made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, that's exactly why. There's a reason I've learned the hard way.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so what are we talking about today, Mike?
Today, even though we stay away from it, today we're going to talk about politics because it is dividing a lot of people.
That's a good idea. We should talk about division, especially now. There's a lot of different ways to look at this. First of all, let me start with this. I'm not a left or a right guy. I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. I'm kind of in the middle. But I strongly believe everyone has a point of view and opinion. I look at the wrong camera. A point of view and opinion. And it should be heard. It's a free country. Everybody has a right to say what they think and believe, or everyone has a right to believe what they think and say. And you shouldn't tell them that they're wrong, stupid, or dumb because of those things, as long as they're not hurting other people.
That you hit the nail on the head. Everyone has an opinion and 100% right to have that opinion. However, it's not your right to force your opinion on someone else when they're just walking by in a grocery store or on the street.
Right, or expect them to do exactly what you think and feel, or even more to punish or attack them because they don't do what you think or feel.
Exactly.
Right.
This is America, and this is about freedom, which the division that has been coming through my office just before the pandemic started was had to do with the first election with Trump.
Right.
And a lot of kids that, I don't know about you, but when I was in high school, I wasn't too concerned about politics.
Yeah, I wasn't really. It wasn't until after high school.
Yeah.
I think we're so connected now. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? There's so much. Plus, it's when we were kids, the news was on ABC and NBC and
Right.
CBS, and that was it.
And it was major stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like you would get it at night at 5:30, you get it at 10:30, and you get it twice a day. Now the news cycles they're constantly all day long.
Yeah, and they're repeating the same thing, so it's just being drilled into the head.
Right.
But I mean, I was more focused on sports and girls at that time.
Right.
I wasn't focused on what's going on in the world unless something was major.
Right, like a big deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
So in this sense, I have kids coming in that they've had friends since second grade, kindergarten, and now in high school, they're no longer friends. I've had parents that are coming into my office, lifelong friends who are like, I can't talk to them anymore because they support this or that, whatever side of the fence they're on.
Right. No, I've lost a few friends this last year, actually, just based on, and again, it's not like I'm a hardcore. I'll say things sometimes that people go, well, you're a Trump supporter. I'll go, no, actually, I am not a Trump supporter at all. I don't like Trump. But then I can say something else and someone will go, oh, well, you're one of those liberals. I go, no, I'm not. I'm the other way. But you can't go one way. We're so far apart now. You can't go one side or the other because the other side will size you up immediately and cut you off.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And that also puts certain people in fear of no matter where they are, depending on the group they're in, they won't express anything, or they'll keep their feelings to themselves and feel like they're being bullied or pushed upon.
Right. Well, that's exactly one of the biggest reasons, or how Trump won the first election, was that the so-called polls and everything. Everyone said, "Well, he'll never win." That's because nobody wanted to tell anyone they were voting for Trump.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I think one of the reasons we brought this up today is we don't want to talk politics, but we want to talk about how it's affecting the kids and how I try to teach my kids. My kids, of course, are hard liberal because we live in California. But they still understand everyone has a point of view and a side, and they will debate subjects, which is something people don't do anymore.
No.
You know what I mean?
And here's the thing. For us, for most of my friends, no matter what side of the fence, I don't even want to call it a fence because it's such a gray area now.
Right.
No matter where we fall, we can say, okay, well, that's your opinion, that's mine. We can still have a beer. We can still hang out, and we're still okay. And we need to get back to that because our kids are saying, I can't be friends with you. It's like Hatfield and McCoy's.
Yeah, you can't deciding to be friends with someone based on something that they believe or what they think. I mean, that's a form of kind of almost like profiling in a way. You know what I mean?
It is.
I mean, you're
it is bigotry.
Yeah, it's a total bigotry, and it's also, first of all, you're not teaching your kids anything healthy when it comes to interacting with human beings, just as an adult. Also, just as an American thing. It's a country. It's a free country. One of the things growing up, I always knew was that you could do or believe whatever you wanted to believe.
Right.
And kids are starting to think that that's not the case anymore, and they're not talking to other people based on what they think or what they say they think.
Now you can instill whatever you'd like in your kids. It's your child. You can do what you'd like for the most part. I'm not saying go down the street kicking puppies. I'm saying, your beliefs are gonna go into your child's mind, and then I guess when everyone's freshman in college, they're all like, let's save the whale and Greenpeace.
Well, even high school they started to change. Lily and Anna, man,
it's younger and younger.
We butted heads on. We talked about this a little bit earlier. I don't know if we mentioned it when we started taping. We're so much more accessible to the information now. You know what I mean? Before it used to be just a little bit of news. Now we're getting news constantly, 24 hours
and
a day.
it's who's putting that out.
Right. Also, besides, we didn't even approach the fact that there's misinformation that's being fed to these, and the misinformation is being fed to kids through social platforms and TikTok, and kids believe everything they say on TikTok.
Oh, they do.
I mean, everything Anna says something, I go, "Where did you learn that from TikTok?"
TikTok.
I just go, "TikTok's right, Dad." I go, okay, I don't know if it's totally right.
If it's on the internet, it has to be true.
It's got to be true.
Denzel Washington said this. I love this quote. If you don't read the news, you are uninformed. If you read the news, you're misinformed.
Yeah, right. That's true.
Yeah. So going back to all of this, things are pretty simple. You need to understand a few simple rules of you can have whatever opinion you want. If you believe masks are good, masks are bad, that's up to you. Vaccines are good, vaccines are bad, that's up to you. All right. Whatever you want to do, that's up to you. That's America. That's freedom. However, you can't push whatever you feel on somebody else. You can't forcibly say, freedom of speech, listen to me. Right. That's not it. You can't walk up to individuals and say, I'm exercising my freedom of speech. You have to listen to what I have to say to you in this grocery store or outside on the street. That's not okay.
Well, one of the things I teach the kids too, it's important to listen to people that you don't agree with.
Yeah.
It's really important to have those conversations. Too often now people go, well, I can't talk to you, when you should. Because you learn a couple of things. One is you learn what that other person is actually thinking.
Yeah.
You learn what's going through their head. You understand their point of view more. Also, honestly, it gives you ammunition to counter their proposal because you understand where they're coming from more. So you can go, well, you're wrong because of this. You can't just go, you're wrong because you're stupid. Because first of all, that's not true. Second of all, no one's going to respond to that. Nobody responds to, you're an idiot, shut up. You've got to acknowledge.
No one says okay.
Yeah, you're right. No one goes, oh, I'm stupid. What did I miss? Can you explain to me exactly what it is I'm doing wrong? Nobody does that.
No.
Right.
No.
Yeah, so that's why, like, even when you tell a kid to shut up, we mentioned in a previous episode, one of the reasons I have good communication with my kids is because I listen to them as well. If you shut them off and you don't listen to them, then they're not going to listen to you. Shutting down communication is the worst thing to do, and it's a terrible thing to teach your kids because they're not going to learn or grow, and you got to understand the other side to understand where they're coming from.
And we all have to accept that none of us have the clear truth of everything that's going on.
I do.
We don't.
I have.
Well, you
everything.
do. Of course. You're Lenny Schmidt. That's different.
I just don't tell everybody everything.
No,
I let you guys try to catch up to me.
Even solved world peace and told no one.
I could do it. No, well, I don't want to, there's certain people making money off it, so.
Oh, of course. In this sense, even kids that would come into my office, if they're leaning, let's say, to divide it up, Democrat or Republican. If they're Democrat, I would say, cool, but ask more questions about the Democrats. Ask more questions, become more informed if that's what you want.
Right.
Don't just ask questions to try and poke holes in the Republican platform if you are a Democrat. Ask what can validate and support where you believe.
Right, 100%. These are problems I have, ironically, on Facebook when I always sit down and go, I think I can explain this to someone really quick right now, and I can't.
Yeah.
But I have more adults that act that way, too. There's a debate I've been going on. I haven't commented in about a week about it, but there's a debate I've been doing online about how I posted something about both sides being wrong. And every time I do that, my Democrat friends just totally attack me. And
They're like, no, we're right.
Go, dude, what do you mean we're wrong, dude? Explain to me where we're wrong. And then I'll explain it, and they'll go, well, that's because of Trump. Now everything they say is because of Trump.
Yeah.
I go, well, Trump isn't here anymore. You're aware of that, right? He's not the president. But you can't have a debate with them because they all they do is attack the other side. You gotta look. Part of listening to the others, if you listen to the other side, they'll open your eyes to things that are wrong with your side. And you start to learn more about both sides. That's how we grow as a country.
So we can figure out truth.
Right.
That's what it's all about.
And kids should learn this. I think I try to teach and again, I'm not perfect, but I try to teach my kids this as they're growing up because it's so important for them to be able to have an open mind and listen to both sides because they're not going to learn what's really going on if you're only looking at one side of it.
Right. And there's a degree of tolerance that should be expected for everyone. Tolerance is not shove your propaganda in my face, but it's a healthy boundary of saying, you know what, that's your opinion. I can respect that's your opinion. That's your freedom.
Right.
It's not saying, yes, you have to push something else on me.
Right.
And it goes back to like when in Rome, do as the Romans do. For example, if my daughter is going to a friend's house, whatever their house rule is, as long as it's appropriate, follow the house rule. If they want to wear a mask, that's it. If they don't want to wear a mask, that's fine. If someone comes over, here's our rules. This is what we expect of you. And the same thing in having simple conversations with people. You know, if you feel comfortable wearing 3 masks by yourself, driving in a car, that's up to you. Your car, your freedom.
Right.
You know?
Right. And the mask thing is a great example to bring up for that. COVID is really, because they politicize this so much that it's all about politics and masks and vaccines and everything else. And I'm a big believer in if you don't want to get the vaccine, that's fine, but then you need to deal with whatever rules and repercussions that are out there that you have to follow while you're out there. And you have to respect someone if they wear a mask, if they want to do. That's just I don't think pointing a finger at someone because they are or are not wearing a mask and calling them a name doesn't make any sense to me.
No, it doesn't.
Right.
And that's the freedom everyone has. So getting back to the kids, we are the example for them. We have to be. So the rules of your house, that's your house. And they're going to have friends now that every kid's going back and sports are back, school's back. They're going to have friends with different opinions and their families have different opinions. You have to say, well, that's okay for them. This is what we do.
Yeah, this like I said, and this connects to a lot of the episodes we talked a little bit earlier. This year and a half off of social interaction, and now post-COVID, post-Trump, post-election, and jumping right back into social interaction between these teen kids, it's going to be a really confusing, difficult time for these kids. And if they don't go into it with an open mind, willing to talk to and communicate and listen to other people, they're going to just shut each other out and cause nothing but enemies and fights.
And then there is no tolerance, not even for their own individual, like, social skills.
Yeah, we can't. I mean, I look back when I was a kid. It was like you said. It was so much simpler. It was just 2-3 news channels. All you thought about was baseball. You know, I wasn't really watching the news.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know what was going on in Haiti or in other countries and stuff. My daughters do. It's a weird time.
It is
for them to be so aware of this stuff. So it's important to have the knowledge and the information and pay attention to it, but then to listen to someone from a different point of view.
Absolutely. What you could also do is ask your kids how they feel about it. Does it make sense? Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it's important to talk to them too because they're being influenced by other kids that are out there who are being influenced by other parents. And there are people out there that are telling, well, you shouldn't talk to that guy because he believes this or he believes that or he's an anti-masker or anti-vaxxer or whatever. And there's a difference between not wanting to wear a mask and being an anti-masker. You know, there's a whole anti-vaxxer is an animate person telling people to take off the mask and causing chaos, I think.
Right.
And there's people that just don't want to wear a mask.
Right.
I think there's a difference between the two.
There is. Just like with some of the propaganda for they're calling people anti-vaxxers when it's like they're actually just declining to take it. They're not telling people don't take it. They're just electing not to take it.
Right, and there's a whole level of trust with this vax thing. Like, I'm vaxxed, but there's a whole level of trust with this vax thing where it's still not approved by the
FDA. No,
it's not approved by the FDA. It's on emergency use,
Yeah.
but it's not fully approved by the FDA. So I completely understand when there's people going, I don't really know if I want to take that yet. That seems reasonable to me. You know, I didn't do it. Felt the other way. But if you're afraid or you're worried about it, you have every right to go, I'm not taking the vaccine yet. So you shouldn't be persecuted or attacked for that reason. I just think you should be.
Yeah. And that's the great thing about America. It is your choice. It's your choice, whatever if you want to get there's triple vaccinations out now, right?
Well, they're starting to do booster shots for people that are in a health, like if they've beaten cancer or they're at risk, like the higher at risk people, the ones that were most of the people that passed. I mean, most of the top 80% of the people that passed away from COVID were people that had some sort of other medical
underlying
issue, right?
Yeah.
Whether it was a cancer or diabetes or whatever.
Or autoimmune deficiency. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's different things. So they're telling people now to take the booster for that.
Right.
So those people are now starting to get boosters.
For sure. And then, once again, however you feel, however you want to research this, that's great. We're not trying to tell you what you should or shouldn't do. That's the great thing about America. One thing to be aware of is there's going to be a lot of different opinions that your kids are coming into contact with when they go to school or back into sports. The best thing to do is communicate, listen, and also teach them healthy boundaries. Someone's opinion is their opinion, and you don't have to shove your opinion in their face. Just like it's not okay for someone to shove their opinion in your kid's face.
Yeah, but it's still okay to be open and communicate and listen to those other opinions.
Absolutely.
And not to persecute someone because of that opinion.
Educate yourself.
Yeah. And kids, plus, if you teach kids to listen to all those other opinions and educate themselves, they're only going to help them. It's only going to help them learn and grow. It's just smarter, more educated adults moving forward. Being closed off to other opinions and societies, or not societies,
like cancel culture.
Yeah, it's a terrible. I think it's a terrible thing to do. To be in a situation, I'm lucky that my kids feel the same way. My daughters, they're big believers in everybody has a voice and opinion, and you can disagree with them and move on. There's no
still
reason,
be friends.
Yeah, and still be friends. Or if you stay away from them, there's no reason to attack them and cancel them because they believe something else or said something else.
Yeah, because what we're teaching, if they're not tolerant, and I don't mean tolerant like compromise your own morals.
Tolerance is a good word, though, for all of this, yeah.
It's saying, okay, I respect your opinion. We can still be friends, and that's okay. I'm not going to cancel you as a friend.
Right.
So that's the last message we want to put through as parents. We are the example. We are the role model. So we have to set a bar for ourselves.
Yeah, and your kids are going to learn from you, and they're going to behave pretty close to the way you behave, so... Be aware of it.
You don't have to email us and tell us where you stand on your political opinion or anything like
Please
that.
don't, actually.
We're just saying how your kids are going to be affected. And sometimes out dating in the world, there's a lot of people out, single dads like yourselves that I know that are like out there and they're this or they're that or they're, it's going to influence.
Right. Absolutely.
It really will.
100%. Okay. That's it.
All right.
So feel free to email, feel free to email us with any questions, comments you have at notyourfathershow@gmail.com.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah, and every Monday we'll launch a new video. Every Monday, 6 o'clock Pacific, and they'll stay up on YouTube. Please like the videos, follow us on social platforms. We really appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
We'll see you next week.
All right, goodbye.